from the Little Piggies, because it involves mascots at Bristol City versus Wolves on Saturday. Here it comes. Now, unlike his team, Wolfie from Wolves was on the defensive when banter turned to fisticuffs at half-time. Now, attempts to send off the offender failed, and so the Little Piggy and his mates all trotted off for a penalty shootout. But rather like Bristol City, the Little Piggies were quite frankly awful. Wolves have said today that Wolfie was not the perpetrator of all the trouble. But here comes that trouble once again. It's the moment when one little pig exacted revenge for generations of nursery rhyme persecution. What do you reckon?
Oh, I'd hate to have a fight wearing sort of a little garment like that.
Well, anybody who thinks that they can inflict damage through that lot must need more than a padded costume, because it's ridiculous.
That must fall over and not go back up again.
That must have been publicity stunt. That wasn't real.
I don't think it was, actually.
Surely.
I think they just got a little bit heated. But the hippopotamus at Stoke, I have to say, does have a positive act up at Stoke. They got relegated last season. He finished 7th in the Player of the Year poll award, so they do have a positive function now and again.
Finally scored a goal, and it produced quite a few celebrations.
Football for their money. They were also treated to a bizarre spectacle of a fight between the team mascots. Andrew Simmons reports.
It all started pretty harmlessly, some half-time entertainment. 3 pigs, one of them aiming a penalty shot at Wolfie, mascot for Wolverhampton Wanderers. City Cat, Bristol City's mascot, appeared friendly. The crowd seemed to be enjoying it. But there was obviously some tension inside those furry outfits. Wolfie was getting a bit hot under the collar. He took a swing at one of the pigs, which was duly returned. Some thought it was all part of the act. Wolves supporters chanted, "Come on, Wolfie." It had been a real punch-up, and stewards were called in to try and calm things down. No one was sure what it was all about, but tempers were frayed. The incident wasn't bookable, no yellow or red cards, but they were all sent off. Later, away from the cameras, another fight broke out, and City Cat was apparently in the thick of it. He was sacked on the spot, and not only that, his team, Bristol City, went on to lose the football match 6-1. Andrew Simmons, News at 10.
That's news at 10 tonight. Until tomorrow, from all of us here at ITN, good night.
Now, it's been no fairy tale season so far for them, but what happened at half-time during the Wolves match at Ashton Gate on Saturday was the stuff of children's books.
The Wolves mascot turned into a big bad wolf and ended up brawling on the pitch with 3 little piggies.
And if that wasn't bad enough, enter stage left Puss in Boots, or Bristol City's mascot, the City Cat, who certainly lost one of his 9 lives and was left licking his wound.
Well, Scott Ellis has an exclusive interview with one of the pigs as he unravels the whole sorry tale.
It reads like a page of a children's bedtime book, but in the land of Ashton Gate, the truth is stranger than fiction. At half-time, Wolves' big bad wolf got into a huff and a puff.
Take that, you little piggies!
And hit one little porker on his chinny chin.
Oh no, it's Mr. Wolf!
The fans thought it was all for fun and nearly cheered the house down.
The 3 pigs were just ganging up on the wolf by the looks of it, and he was waving his arms and there was a few kicks going. And so as one of the pigs was having a go at him, the other one was trying to sneak round the back.
Today, the 3 little piggies were banned from the ground, but said it was all the fault of the big bad wolf.
At half-time, the wolf approached me, struck a blow to my head, which resulted in my head becoming detached from the pig body. I then picked it up and retreated back into the Bristol half, followed by the wolf, which then again punched me during the penalty shootout.
The wolf, meanwhile, has gone into hiding, but his club says he never started the scuffle and the matter is closed. The hero of the tale is City's 6-foot cat, said to have calmed everyone down and avoided a catastrophe. What's for sure is those little piggies won't be let out near a wolf again.
I think we now know that for the return leg at Molineux, wolves and pigs don't go, but I think the cat was a real hero in getting between them and keeping the peace.
All in all, it's a half-time story that'll definitely be one to tell the grandchildren about. Scott Ellis, Midlands Today.
Unbelievable. Latest we hear is the dispute's actually gone to arbitration. 3 people on the panel: Sir David Attenborough, Johnny Morris and Rolf Harris.
Time for the weather forecast now. Here's Shafali.
Entertainment of sorts involving Mascots at Bristol City versus Wolves on Saturday. Unlike his team, Wolfie was on the defensive when banter turned to fisticuffs. Attempts to send off the offender failed, and the little piggy and his mates trotted off for a penalty shootout. But rather like Bristol City, the little piggies were awful. Wolves said today Wolfie was not the perpetrator. Here it is again, the moment one little pig exacted revenge for generations of nursery rhyme persecution. That's all for now. We're back early tomorrow morning.
For Wolves' latest strike force when they travel to the Molineux tonight. At the weekend, Wolfie the mascot showed his bad side during a half-time bust-up with who else but the 3 little pigs. No one's quite sure what caused the fracas, but the stewards were called in and everybody got the red card. That's the Big Breakfast News at 8:04. Here's Johnny and Denise with a newspaper review.
6-1 win at Bristol City, but then it was overshadowed by a fight between their Wolfie mascot and 3 little pigs. Sanity was restored at Molineux tonight for Wolves against Sheffield United.
Wolfie the mascot fought off the 3 little pigs in Bristol City territory on Saturday when the friendly half-time banter turned ugly. Tonight, back in his own lair, he was in perfect harmony with himself.
To rid the game of violence on the terraces and turn it into a nice, happy family occasion again. So imagine their utter despair when some cuddly team mascots started putting the boot into each other. Well, that's exactly what happened at Wolves versus Bristol City. The full horrific story has never actually been told. Until now. Please welcome the Wolves mascot, Wolfie, and Bristol City City Cat, a.k.a. Steve Bird and Mark Wedrell. Hi, Steve. Hi. You all right?
Yeah, fine.
Right, Mark.
Hi, how you doing? Great, thanks.
OK, so, Steve, I want to get this straight. You were Wolfie.
Yep.
The Wolverhampton Wanderers,
Right.
and you were City Cat.
That's right.
OK. And tell us a little bit, for anybody that's not au fait with the world of mascots, what exactly does a sort of mascot do?
The main thing is to entertain the crowd.
So, like half-time?
That's right. Emphasis on the children.
Quite a sort of position of responsibility, actually. So, bearing that in mind, let's cast our minds back to the football match in November 1998. And it did indeed make sporting history, didn't it? Because this football match was on all the news shows, it was in all the papers, but for all the wrong reasons. Because there was a little bit of a fracas, was there not, gentlemen?
Just a small one, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Let's remind ourselves of that fracas.
But there was some tension inside those furry outfits. Then he took a swing at one of the pigs. It all got out of hand. Some thought it was part of the act. Wolves supporters chanted, "Come on, Wolfie." But it was a real punch-up, and stewards were called onto the pitch to try and calm things down. No one was sure what was actually being said, but tempers were definitely frayed. Later, despite the handshakes, came another fight, unseen by the cameras.
So what happened?
It was usual day, really. But to be honest, I'd never even seen the pigs before. They weren't...
Where were they? Who were they? Because they, you know, it was basically between Bristol City and Wolverhampton Wanderers. So what were the 3 pigs doing on the pitch in the first place?
The pigs had been hired in by Bristol City Football Club for a promotion. It's a sponsorship type thing. They're not usually there on match day, so this was a one-off. We don't usually have 3 little pigs running around on the pitch.
So what happened with the pigs?
It basically started because I always had a football to play with. That was what I did for my entertainment.
Right.
And it got booted out the ground, unfortunately, by somebody at the game. And I suddenly found myself with nothing to do. I was at a loss. And I suddenly noticed in the distance 3 pigs playing football. So I thought it would be a good idea to join in.
To go and join them?
Basically, yeah. Obviously, I was outnumbered, 3 against 1. I didn't have a chance. So I decided the only way I could possibly get involved properly was to win the ball. So basically I felled the pig quite badly.
And there was a fracas that ensued.
Yep.
And all hell broke loose.
Yeah,
Stewards came on the pitch, got totally out of control.
One of the pigs lost his head.
He did.
City Cat, you jumped in there, Mark, saved the day, didn't you?
Suddenly realised something was going on over my shoulder. And turned round just as the Wolves sort of completed a sort of side-in tackle on one of the pigs and took him up in the air.
And you know, the chanting must have just spurred you on even more.
You've always, well, I always had my own fans in mind.
Right.
And I must do the best for them.
Right.
So I was defending...
It was the honour of the team.
That's exactly right. I was defending the honour of our club, yeah.
You want to confess to something, and you want to get it off your chest. If you just say it straight down camera one.
Well, at the time of the whole story, it was said that I was totally not to blame, which is obviously not true. And I really do hope that nobody got injured. I heard that there was a split lip involved, and I think above anything else, I really regret the whole incident getting out of proportion. And I think, to be honest, if there had been a referee on the pitch at the time, I would have certainly got a yellow card and possibly a red. So I think it probably was, at the end of the day, totally my fault, and I would really like to apologise to the pigs, if they're out there.
Shall we see what the pigs think?
Oh.
Because they're not just out there. They're actually right here. It's Paddy Kelly, Steve Newsham and Andrew Keefe. You're right. Now, do all take a seat.
Have a chair.
So that was a bit of a shock, wasn't it, Steve? Sorry,
It was.
Sorry about that.
It's just that at the moment it's OK because they had the heads on it, and I don't know which one it was, but...
Well, let me tell you, am I to believe that you, Andrew, got the first tackle?
He's a lot bigger than me, so I'll let Paddy deal with it.
So, Paddy, you got the split lip, you got the first tackle. Steve?
I was busy dancing up at the end. I'm not going to fight a wolf, I'm a pig, you know.
So, actually, you guys, you kind of got the blame, didn't you? You're like, oh, these three pigs, they just wander onto the pitch and they, you know, start causing trouble. What was it like when you heard him sort of say, well, actually, when you heard Steve admit that it was him?
We always knew it was his fault anyway, but...
Did they carry on using you as mascot?
For a while.
What else happened? What else happened?
It's become a bit of a legacy in my life, unfortunately. Everywhere I go, I get reminded of it. It's really been fun. I've enjoyed every minute of it, to be honest with you. It's been great fun. As I say, the only thing I was ever worried about was that somebody really did actually get hurt, because it is entertainment, and everybody ever said to me was that it was probably the best entertainment they've ever seen at a football match. And when you follow my team, you don't see a lot of entertainment, so...
Finally, also, Steve, while they're here, is there anything that you'd like to say to the three pigs?
Just that if any of you did get hurt, and obviously one of you did, that was certainly not my intentions. I may have seemed it at the time, but it wasn't. And I sincerely apologise for anything like that, but I must admit it was good fun. It was good fun, yeah. And I'd like to shake you all.
Yay!
Good to meet you.
Steve, Mark, Paddy, Andrew and Steve!
You kind of turn into the animal that you're in. Do you become like, because you look kind of wolf-like?
You play, yeah, it has been said.
Yeah.
You play the part. You play the part.
Like pigs?
Oh, thanks, that's
I'm only
lovely.
joking. That was a joke there, I had to say.
Around everywhere.
Did you practice at home?
Oh, yeah.
Would you practice at home?
Oh, yeah.
I actually...
What, walking around the house?
Well, just put your head on and you practice your hand movements, you know, because everything's got to be exaggerated. You've got to learn where your eyes are, where your nose is, where your ears are. You've just got to learn everything, you know. It's...
to a close for this week. We'll be back soon with more people wanting to clear their consciences, get things just off their chests and get a weight off their minds. It could get messy. Till then, to play us out with things that go bump in the night, here's All Star